You're listening to the Casting Shadows podcast, an extension of, or sometimes deviation from, material found on the Casting Shadows blog at castingshadowsblog.com. But really is a means of support or a pass behind the curtain or an invitation for conversation stemming from the content on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/RuneSlinger. If you're here by accident and you're not interested in talking about role-playing games, eject now. You'll be happier for it. But if you are interested in role-playing games, then please listen on. The following podcast episode was originally recorded for YouTube and is the traditional interaction between the two people behind RPG A Day. That being its founder, David Chapman, maybe known to some of you as the person behind the Doctor Who role-playing games from Cubicle 7, first edition, the new second edition, and the new take on playing the Doctor through Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, which is not, maybe, an adaptation that you might expect. David joins me each year to launch RPG A Day. So the other voice you'll hear, well, it's mine. But anyway, without any further ado, let's get to it and launch RPG A Day for 2022. All right, please fasten your seatbelts. We're about to launch into the next RPG A Day. This is one of those videos where David Chapman, the founder of RPG A Day, and I, the support person for RPG A Day, come together and talk about what it is. Maybe this is your first time to experience RPG A Day, or maybe you haven't done it for a while. And as you know, each year we make some changes. But to begin the video, as there have been in the past, we stretch back our memories, there have been 8 instances of RPG A Day. And this is the dawning of the 9th. So, turning to David, if we cast our memory back way to the beginning, what is the source of the idea? Where does RPG A Day come from?
Now, that's a good question. It kind of started when there was a similar sort of online prompting thing that was being done by a book publisher in the UK called Book A Day. And I found myself joining in, but a lot of the books I was putting as like my most memorable book from my childhood or favorite book that I've read multiple times and things like that. Most of the time I was putting up RPG books. I was putting it up, D&D Player's Handbook from a D&D one from 1982 and things like that. And I thought to myself, well, if it's going to be all RPGs, why not do one that's dedicated to RPGs? And then that one ran in June, if I remember rightly, which gave me a month to prepare some questions for running it in August. And I thought August would be the ultimate time to do it, because a lot of people are going to Gen Con and having fun playing games and being all hyped up about games. But there are also a lot of people who would like to go to Gen Con but can't, and want some way of getting their gaming fix on for August. So I thought this will be a great distraction for those who can't make it to Gen Con.
That's true.
I mean, even when I lived on the other side of the earth and was near to Gen Con, it was never really in the cards for me to be able to travel there, even when I lived just a few thousand kilometers away, rather than an entire trip around the world away. I just was never able to make it there, and that can kind of leave you feeling cut off or left out from the sense of everything new and exciting for that year in gaming. But the idea of game books as books is an important one. I mean, I think a lot of us are, because of how long we've been playing and how many different games that we have played, or because of periods of inactivity or periods of great creativity in the hobby, there are times when we wind up with a lot more books than we're playing. We certainly don't have 100 different games going on every week, and so there's a lot of books that are on the shelf, not currently in use. So, are you one of those people who buys role-playing game books maybe more for the purpose of reading them than to actually get them to the table yourself?
Far too many. Yeah, I only really have. Outside of work play testing, I think I have one game a week, which we're currently playing, the One Ring, and then I also have a game a month, which is 5e D&D. So a lot of the things behind me, they're kind of reference material or just an enjoyable read mostly.
Yeah.
So.
Right, and a lot of them, they whisper to you, saying, like, remember me, remember way back when, you remember me back when, I remember you back when.
Yeah, a lot of nostalgia going on behind here. It's the Ghostbusters and the James Bond RPG. It's like, I no, can't part with those. They're too precious.
And who knows, inspiration or opportunity can strike when we least expect it, and we have the chance to take out an unplayed game, a never played game, or a currently unplayed, a temporarily unplayed game.
Temporarily, hopefully.
And as we get older, from the point of view of a percentage, that period of temporary could be seen as getting shorter.
That's a nice way of looking at it.
So, what games are you looking forward to coming out in the year ahead in 2022?
So I backed Blade Runner, haven't played it yet, and also backed a very cool one called Flabbergasted. So eagerly awaiting that one arriving.
I haven't heard of that one. That sounds cool.
That's kind of Jeeves and Wooster RPG, which just looked like it was going to be great fun. So looking forward to that one as well. But and there's plenty of other ones. There's one by Stu Goff, who ran my Kickstarter for Wild. His up there as well. His one called Aegean hopefully should be fairly soon as well, which is the like Greek myth ones. We've been playing that one in playtests as well, and that's been great fun as well.
I think the one that I'm anticipating most is Chaosium's take on Rivers of London.
Oh yes, yeah. My wife's a big fan of the books. So I haven't read any myself, but yeah, it looks like it's going to be good.
Yeah, I picked them up almost on a whim. It was a couple of years ago, and it was during a time similar to this, kind of a dark time where we're struggling with, death in the family. I picked it up because it was supposed to be funny, and I couldn't have been happier. I got it thanks to a deal on Audible and Kindle. I got it in Kindle format and Audible format. And the narrator, probably one of the best I've ever heard on Audible, a gentleman named Kovna Holbrook Smith. Just amazing in his ability to bring this wide and varied cast of characters, huge cast of characters to life across the whole series of these books. It's just amazing. And of course, the work itself, written by Ben Aronovich, it's just told in this way. It's interesting mysteries and interesting characters, and a lot of surface humor and deeper ideas, and great and ever growing context. A lot of dramatic connection you can feel to these different characters, but somehow through all of this, the way that the words come across, it's, as I'm listening to the audio in the car, it's, Ben Aronovich's words are coming out, and it's very much like someone sitting in the car with me. Like I've got a buddy in the car with me who's just telling me this wild story.
Awesome. That sounds really good.
And they're good mysteries and stuff. So the opportunity to play around in that world with, the author's support, and with Lynn Hardy kind of at the helm, this sounds, aces to me.
Definitely. Great team behind it all.
Right, but we could sit here and talk about games and books all day if you let us. So let's put the brakes on. RPG A Day 2022. If someone out there, someone watching this video, someone hearing about RPG A Day for the first time, if they decided, that's something I'm going to do. Well, how does one do it? How does one RPG a day? What are they supposed to do, David?
It's interesting because there have been a couple of moments online in the last month where people have asked me, so what is this all about? Or coming to it new. And basically it is just a series of prompts, one a day throughout August. You can download the graphic from the Facebook page or from the Autocratic website. And I'm sure you've got it on yours as well, the Casting Shadows one. So yeah, you download the graphic, and each day there is a question, and simply answer the question in any way you fancy. It could be a vlog, a podcast, a blog, or even something as simple as a tweet or a single photo or something like that. We're not biased with videos or anything like that when it comes to Instagram. So it could be anything fancy. It could be a poem or a bit of artwork that you've done, or showing off a miniature that you've painted or something. Just try and tie it in with the question. In previous years, we've had single word prompts, a bit like Inktober. And before that, when it first started, for the first 4 or 5 years, we had proper questions like we have returned to this year.
Right, we're coming around full circle to where we started.
Next year, I have this crazy idea of incorporating the two, so that you'd have a question, but one of the words would be highlighted, so you could focus on the single word. But that's going to take a lot of planning, so might start working on that one now.
Right, probably as soon as this one closes down, we would have to begin working on that. And just as something fun to tack on, for the last couple of years, I've been throwing out there, in kind of a vain hope that maybe people could try it as interpretive dance, and so however you are inspired to participate, be it a tweet or a comment on Facebook, image on Instagram, or a video somewhere, YouTube, Instagram, or wherever else, whatever place that you post and share your ideas online, and however you choose to express yourself online, just go with that, and from a positive standpoint, talk about using the prompts as a guide if you need, or using them as a launching pad for your own inspiration. Share positive ideas about role-playing game.
And that's the key bit, was using the word positivity there, because there's been so many negative things going around in the RPG sphere, and that was another inspiration for it back 9 years ago. There was a lot of negativity going around in the RPG space, and this is purely just celebrating the good stuff. So keep it positive. Don't slag other people's games off or anything like that. Just focus on the good bits, promote what you love, and yeah, be positive.
Right. And I don't want to send the message that this is an intentional thing, that the negativity is something that we're doing on purpose. We want to be negative. I just find that maybe it's the way that we're brought up, in this modern culture. Maybe it's something about how we learn to communicate publicly in school and whatnot. But I think we have sort of a compare and contrast culture, especially in discourse, and we can wind up saying things like, I like this thing, not because of what it does or what special positive qualities it has, but rather I like it because it isn't like this, or it doesn't do that. And we wind up accidentally, right, certainly unintentionally, sowing seeds of negativity. When someone comes across what we've posted, what they're seeing is, this thing that you like, I don't like, and here's the reasons why I don't like it. And it's supposed to be praising a game that you like, but when we actually look at the content, it's being negative about a game that you don't like. So, like I say, because of this kind of form, or this habit, this unintentional compare and contrast methodology, we are accidentally negative. And so, it's something to think about, that we're doing something for the purpose of being positive about the hobby, and what we say should reflect that positivity. So, as with every year, the prompts are organized together under a general theme. We're not very overt or explicit about the theme, but it's there if you choose to look at it, and if you go back through the different RPG days that I've been involved with, you'll find it hooked in there somewhere. But this year, as David mentioned, we've returned back to questions, but questions, like always, there's a twist. This year they're organized under the principle of the 5 W's, which, weirdly, the way that our world works, is actually 6 questions: who, what, when, where, why, and how. But there's 7 days in the week. So that 7th day, Sunday, where in some parts of our culture that is a day of rest, we change it up a little bit, and rather than having to answer a question, we turn it more into a bit of an activity, and an activity that celebrates the possibility of there having been 9 years of participation in RPG a Day. So on Sunday, there's some kind of simple task to do: share something, tag some friends, and that kind of stuff, to kind of keep the momentum of RPG a Day going. Also, like in past years, there is an alternate question. These questions for this year are quite broad. They're focused on reaching as many people as possible, to make it easy for as many people as possible to interact, we hope. And so we haven't provided a long list of alternate questions to try and make it easy for everybody, but there is one posted right on the infographic of something that you can do if on a particular day you are absolutely stuck. And of course, remember, these are prompts. These are questions that are there to help and inspire. It's not a straitjacket. It's not a box. It's not something for which we demand compliance. The idea is that this is a question, hopefully with a charming and positive response that you can give about a memory of playing with friends, or an awesome game, or some system that surprised you, or some situation that surprised you, something that you love, right? So in the sharing, we can spread the positivity. But if the question isn't particularly working for you, latch onto the idea. What is something positive I can share on this day, or in this particular post, to show my love of the hobby? So, however you share, wherever you share, whether that is Twitter or Facebook or on your podcast. One of the most vibrant RPG a Day communities is the Anchor RPG community. The Anchor podcasting sphere has so many interesting RPG podcasts, and a lot of people involved there communicate back and forth, sending messages through the Anchor app and talking about role-playing games. And they have long lists, some people doing it daily, just a short daily podcast about the prompt, whatever it is, or longer ones collected, weekly or every couple of days, whatever. So however you're moved to participate, the idea is to share that positivity. And sharing works in two ways. One, you share your own ideas, your own thoughts. But two, you share the thoughts that you find. Right? You come across a cool RPG a Day post, think, that's awesome, I feel the same way, and you share it to your circle, right? And share things widely, not just limiting them to your RPG circles of friends, but just let it be known. Right? The idea here is this is something that we love. Let's talk about it from that point of view. So how can people find your posts? We use a simple hashtag. Hashtag RPG a Day, and then the year. So this year it's RPG a Day 2022. That's all one word. We capitalize RPG, right? So capital R, capital P, capital G, small a, capital D for day, small AY, and then the year 2022. Hashtag RPG a Day 2022. And then people can, whatever forum that they're on, they can click that hashtag and it takes them to a whole bunch of posts. This works on YouTube, it works on Facebook, it works on Twitter, etc., etc. So that's how you can seek out what other people are saying about today's prompt, or what other people are saying in general about RPG a Day. And find some cool ones, find ones that make you smile, and share them on. Expand the circle so that we can all kind of interact with, feed on, and get fueled by the positivity. That sounds easy, right? All you have to do, share a positive thought, hashtag it, RPG a Day 2022, and if we find another one that we like, share that too. So, how do we get involved? Hopefully we've made that easy too. There's two places that you can go for the infographic. David, what is the URL for your blog?
It's autocratic.com, but the last C is a K.
Right. And the K is in the cratic, not in the com.
Yes. Yeah. End of autocratic.
And so, on my part, I'll be releasing the first RPG Day post there on Casting Shadows, which is a C, not a K, at castingshadowsblog.com on August 1st. So you'll find the infographic there and details to go along with it. These are very conversational questions. So we imagine, or we hope, we dream that they'll be easily accessible to anybody who wants to participate, whether you're just now today getting into role-playing games, or if you've been playing them for 30, 40 years. We're coming up on a time when people will be able to say they've been gaming for 50 years. Doesn't that make you feel peppy?
Yeah, and slightly old.
Mature, steeped in the joys of role-playing. Yes. I'm not a drinker, so not a fine wine, but a heady brew of, I don't know, sarsaparilla, I guess. But, anyway, so RPG a Day for 2022, a celebration of everything we love about role-playing games, positivity and interaction, sharing of everything that we like and love about gaming. So, from me, Anthony Boyd, host of Casting Shadows, I hope that you enjoy this year. And David, final thoughts?
Just a big thanks to you for bearing the weight of having to do most of the hard work this year again, because it's one of those things where it creeps up on me, and then by the time I realize, oh no, I need to come up with some questions, I'm just too busy. So thank you again for hosting again. And I hope everybody enjoys it.
All right. And you may see us again throughout the event. We may pop up and share some cool stuff that we found. Hopefully, both of us will be able to, participate as we go through.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
All right. Take care, everyone, and I look forward to seeing you RPG-a-daying for RPG a Day 2022.
Stay multi-classy.
I was waiting for it. Take care.
You've been listening to the Casting Shadows podcast. If you'd like to hear more thoughts about role-playing games or read more thoughts about role-playing games, you can find those thoughts by me on castingshadowsblog.com, a WordPress blog, or on YouTube at youtube.com/runeslinger. I'm also on Facebook. You can find me there at facebook.com/runeslinger. Regardless, thanks for listening to this episode. I hope you'll listen to more episodes, and more than that, I hope you'll interact with me about role-playing games here or in the other places that we've just mentioned.